Hello everyone, this is Charlotte, and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. I'm sorry, I am absolutely sick right now, so I'm going to be doing my podcast, and I'm hoping you can't hear me snuffling along. This is a podcast where I talk about random topics on the way to work. It's about a 45-minute drive to work today, so if you feel like hearing me waffling while snuffling, while screaming at people randomly, absolutely hang around. If you don't want to hear me swearing, and I do profusely, I suggest changing the channel because we're all grown-ups here and some of us really enjoy the sound of the word fuck. So there's also a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I talk about sensitive topics. I never stick to one topic because I'm old as fuck and I ramble. So yeah, if you don't want to hear about other weird shit that happened to me, or my opinion, which is ever so not arrogant, I suggest changing the change the channel. I do waffle. I am full of my own asshole, alright? Anyway, so what did I choose to do today? Body hang-ups. Body hang-ups. Now I'm nearly 40 now. I've got a history in things like trauma, which has led to like anxiety and shit like that. But what I've also developed eating disorders, so if you want to go listen to that podcast I did on anorexia, you'll understand where I'm coming from with that. Oh god, a battle of the wits, here we go. Sorry, I'm dealing with Land Cruisers, not particularly bright. Yes, anyway, so body hang-ups. Coming into my 40s, I'm nearly 40 now, I'm 38, so I'm not particularly having a problem. Sorry, my stutter's already kicking in. I don't particularly have a problem with my body at this point. As long as I am healthy and functional, I'm okay. Aesthetics were never really emphasized when I was growing up, so when it comes to not feeling pretty, that really doesn't factor in for me. I'm surprised when people actually do find me attractive, so I'm like, what the fuck? But my mum, who raised us primarily because my dad's fucking useless, she emphasized functionality and ability, so if I would take feeling incompetent worse than feeling not pretty, because I'd feel like I failed. And there's nothing wrong with failing, to be honest. It's part of life, it's part of the learning experience. Best thing you can do though is fail forward rather than fail back, where you just give up and cry on the couch, wrapped up in a blanket, burrito style. Do it if you must, do it for a little bit, but then get up and fucking go on. Come on, what the fuck? I ain't got time for this infantile shit. But yeah, body hang-ups, Christ man, I'm not particularly perturbed by it. At the moment I'm heavily make-upped because I've got the flu and everything's either red or sore or puffy, so I just don't. But I'm dealing with kids all day, so it doesn't really fucking matter. I had a nice conversation with a 5-year-old the other day about how my wrinkles are uneven, which I laughed my ass off. I was like, I don't give a fuck. He's like, something about symmetry or something, because I was talking about how my face isn't symmetry. I wasn't telling him that my face isn't symmetrical because my mum knocked it out of line. But he was saying something about his ears not being symmetrical. I'm going, okay, well no one's ears are symmetrical. But he's sitting there going, you got wrinkles on one side. And I'm sitting there going, shit. It didn't really bother me. I'm like, if wrinkles is the worst thing I got right now, given the state I'm in, I'm not bothered. But people get upset about, like sagging skin and stuff like that. I know I look young for my age considering my counterparts, because I've looked around and gone, ooh, okay. And you ever see those people that are like 18 but they look old as fuck, and you're going, how did that happen? That's genetics, I expect. Like I look at footage from the 70s and stuff like that, looking at Woodstock, it's like some of them look young, some of them look like they were old before they were young. It's like they just look the same, they just got grey hair later on. I find that weird. Like my parents' generation look old before they were young, like just bone structure wise and stuff. I'm going, this is just weird. Or maybe I'm just too familiar with that particular subgroup being the older generation. I don't know, I'm gonna have to look into that. It's probably a thing for that. But the thing is to not be too invested in insecurities and things like that, because it's the insecurities that will lead you into horrible traumatic experiences where you're trying to alter yourself just to fit in or feel slightly better. And that's how you get things like body dysmorphia, because you believe the hype about people needing to look a particular way in order to be, perceived to be accepted, which is absolutely bullshit. Everybody's different. We're all coming from a unique background with a absolutely unique phenotype set. No two people are going to look the same. Even twins have, or triplets, you might get identical twins, but you can always tell one twin from another. If you hang around with them a lot, you can tell the difference. So people are worried about not looking nice. And it's a shallow existence to be constantly chasing approval by looking nice. I mean, look at the Kardashians. You ever looked at the is it 4 girls or 5 girls? I lose track. Is the boy a girl now? I don't know. I'm losing track. Is the brother Rob? I don't know. But if you look at them before the media and their mum essentially got hold of them, they're pretty average looking girls. There's no real problem there. But because they were being marketed as a product, they were like nip, stitched, tucked, plumped, all kinds of fucked up shit. Now they don't even look human, right? They look like a Bratz doll with fillers in their ass. It looks weird. Not one of them looks like they have naturally grown. They made a mint out of it apparently because people like the plasticized reality, but to be honest, give it a couple of years, that facade is not going to last, because they will then begin to overdo it. Like that cat woman, I don't know if you googled that image, it's like Ripley's Believe It or Not or something, I don't know, but it's probably not, it's just a woman who's an actress who just went too far. But she's had so much plastic surgery that she now looks like some kind of weird puffy cat, and it scares the crap out of me. Now I live in an area where it's slightly better off and women can afford plastic surgery, and the first thing I went for a walk one day and I was walking down the street because I live near like a yacht area, I guess. I'm renting, it's not really my house, but and the amount of shit they've done to their face, it scares me. It's all fillers and like tight eyes, they've done something where they can't blink, and it took me back because I'm like, what the fuck happened to your face? It's like, and I didn't come from one of these areas growing up where this shit was normal. If anything like that turned up, it's usually because you're a burns victim or something. You go, what the fuck? I need to know the story. What happened to your face? I need to know. Is it cool? Do you have scars? Is there more scars? Is there scars we can't see? I want to see them. I want to touch them. But no, we just didn't have the plastic surgery and the Botox shit growing up because no one could afford it, and it was considered weird and taboo, and it was like, well, you're not being authentic, and anything that was tall poppy was generally cut down. Looking unnaturally flawless, or perceived to be flawless quite now. Looking at these girls, they look fucking scary to me because they look like waxworks, but they can't frown, they can't smile, can't do anything. It scares the shit out of me. I'm going, what is going on? But anything like that, where you weren't showing, what the experiences that you went through, like you're gonna look pretty haggard at a particular age, particularly at my age. If you've been through some shit in a rough area like where I grew up in, it's gonna show. You can cover it up with makeup, whatever you want, but it's gonna show. Things like Botox and that was shat on. It was stupid. It's almost like, having the wrinkles of concern and the lines and the skin damage and shit like that was considered a trophy of, the shit you've gone through and survived, is what it is. Kind of, I would assume. Because it was always, toughness was always promoted. Plus, it was also a defense mechanism as well. If you were a woman that was tough and you went through some shit and you could show that you're a bit of a scrapper, guys were less likely to fuck with you. That's the kind of area I grew up in. So women weren't hyper-feminized. We were kind of like, I am tough, you start some shit, I will fuck you up. That's just low SES areas. Women are tougher. You go to the richer areas where women are allowed to be soft, you'll find that they are now faking shit to look more feminine or perceived to be feminine. With the lash extensions and fucking Botox and shit. Put them in a ring with anyone in the area I grew up in. I'd like to see what happens. They get creamed. Absolutely smacked around. But, it's like... Your Botox can't save you now, bitch. I would prefer functionalism over aesthetics any day. I'm looking, like I assume it's a woman at the gym. I'm looking at the body shape and the type and I'm going, that could be a girl, female. And I don't do gender, I do like biological sex. How do I put this gently? I'm pretty sure it's got an innie rather than an outie. But she's pretty tough looking. She's doing power lifts and shit like that. I'm going, that's pretty impressive. I'm more impressed by this person than I am with the dumb bitches with the Lululemon scrunchy asshole pants. Because they do fuck all. And they do the shallow, I'm pretty, therefore I don't have to do anything. As long as I don't eat and I keep applying makeup, people will like me. It bugs me. I was like, I am more appreciative of the woman who looks like she could kick the shit out of someone who is not prettified in the traditional sense, you know, running around in some kind of sports bra, because clearly you're overheating while you're lifting your 1 kilo dumbbells. What the fuck, dude? Actually go and lift something, then you can pretend to overheat. Even then, I'm sitting there putting the fucking fan on because I ain't overheating. We've got 40 over my head. I'm going, I'm not going to overheat. I've done this enough times that I don't want to overheat while I lift. But I'm definitely not running around in a fucking crop top and butt scrunch, you know, leggings. It's embarrassing and stupid. I do wear bright pink though, so I didn't give a fuck about that, but yeah, that's different. But I appreciate that woman more, and she hasn't put the excessive amount of effort into look, you know, aesthetically feminine or stereotypically feminine. She's just doing her thing. I would put her at a higher value than the dumb bitch that's sitting there on this fucking Stairmaster for an hour and then goes home. I'm going, this does nothing. This is nothing. You are doing nothing and you're taking up space. What is your problem? I'm just, it's a functionist building. You're a function, yeah, it bugs me. Anyway, so that's kind of where I grew up. And I am a bit biased because some people grow up in better areas where they're like, oh, girls just have to look feminine and have kids and that's it. Because the guy goes out and does the work and shit. Or they've inherited their wealth and they don't have to do fuck all. I don't value those people because I find that they're untested. So when people turn up, I mean, it's going to be, you know, looking at how people gain and lose wealth. It's like you can just drop out the arse one day, lose everything you've got, and if you haven't trained yourself in any kind of way to, you know, survive in a world where you don't have inherited wealth or you don't have that social status where people got to come and bail you out because it looks good on paper, you're pretty much fucked. So I really do value people that have lived experiences where it's tested their mettle. I want to see chinks in the armor. I want to see the, you know, the scars from being burnt and shit. I want to see, you know, legs. Well, I don't actually want to see people have their legs blown off because they're stood on landmines. But if you've survived that, of course, yes, I'm very proud of you for that. Because you've been tested and you've been shown that you can and you will survive. The pathetic attempt at beauty just doesn't interest me. And I find there's more beauty, to be honest, in surviving weird shit that happens to you. And if you come out a little bit like a strangled cat, even better, because you've proven that you can handle it. That's why, oh God, I was in the gym the other day, I was watching all these girls doing these music videos and going, what the fuck is this about? Because everything these days is sexualized. I mean, it's always been sexualized, obviously, but now it's just a case of, you know, literally pointing the camera at your snatch and approve of me. And you're sitting there thinking, what the fuck? You could at least put some lipstick on it or something. I don't know, what the, you know? So where is this going? But that's the thing, the guys don't do that. Why are the girls doing that? And it's always, you know, like leggings or underpants or whatever it is, halfway cut up your snatch. World's your gynecologist, you know? It doesn't make sense. And then they wonder why they get attacked and stuff like this. Not that men should be attacking women, or anyone should be attacking each other, to be honest. But they present everything on a hypersexualized platter and then wonder why people take them up on the offer. What? People are dumb. Not everyone is intelligent enough to say, hey, this is a bad idea. Some people are genuinely fucking dumb and they will take you up on that shit. But they shouldn't. Yeah, but they will. Oh God. Oh no. Maybe you should do something to protect yourself. But that's the thing, but the guys in the music videos, they're all well covered up. They're not doing anything that's sexualized. They're just standing around bopping, and you sit there going, why aren't we doing what they're doing? Nobody's threatening to rape them. It's like, what the fuck? So that's our options for being women. So either, you know, you're perceived to be really butch, or you're hypersexualized. I wish there was a nice in between. When it comes to vanity and TikTokers and things like that, they're aiming for the more skin, the better. And that plastic facial reality where Botox and plastic surgery reign. And if you don't have that, then you're considered ugly and therefore, you know, not acceptable. It's going to be a real shock for them when they find out people have things like stretch marks and spider veins and varicose veins and, you know, weird lumps that turn up. Not that it's anything like tumors or anything, it's just a case of you're old and your skin sags now. Here's some, you wish your scar tissue stuck in the right spot. But it's phenomenal that people are still trying to reach this percent perfectionist, because I don't see it, but, you know, I don't see it as valued, but this state of aesthetics. It drives people nuts. My anorexia when I was 16, 17 wasn't anything to do with the aesthetics. The aesthetics, or the, you know, relating to the aesthetics of being skinny, came after I developed anorexia. My anorexia was a stress relief problem. I was in a situation where I had no control. My parents were abusive. I had exams on. I had, at that point, a cheating boyfriend. Funny enough, I've had 3 in a row now. A Scorpio called Daniel. Yeah, who cheats on a 16-year-old? I don't know. Anyway, Scorpios. What are they about? But, you know, it was reactional. It was my way of finding something I could have a say in. So I just stopped eating. Bearing in mind I was chubby. I wasn't morbidly obese or anything like that, so it's not like a huge cataclysmic reaction to not being socially accepted. I was chubby, but, you know, our school uniforms hid everything, so it didn't fucking matter. But the eating disorder came from wanting to have some kind of control over any aspect of my life, because everything else was, you know, leash around the throat, controlled. It was horrible. And I was stressed. And it was controlled to the extent where I was contained in a house with 2 abusive parents and I couldn't fucking leave. I had no say in anything I could do. And it was, you know, just standing someone on the ground and making them take the abuse for fucking all day, every day. And you're sitting there thinking, I've got to find some kind of release. So what I did is I stopped eating. And even then it came with the problem of my mum threatening to force feed me and stuff like that, and she would just blast me and shout at me and stuff like that, and you sit there and think, this isn't helping the problem, this is making the problem worse, because now I'm getting abused for something I want control over. And it was control, because she couldn't force feed me, but there was no understanding there. But that, anyway, that's another podcast, and you go listen to that other one. It's anorexia. Anyway. So, you know, it's the aesthetics that came with that. It wasn't vanity after that. It was more surprise that anyone was even looking at me. So, you know, suddenly, you know, I'd lost my chubbiness and guys were like, ooh, a girl. I'm like, ooh, a boy. And, you know, as it kicks off, as you do when you're teenagers. Although I have to say, I was never a horny teenager, you know? Those gross horny teenagers just trying to fuck everything. I was a very reserved, sheltered teenager, probably because of my upbringing, probably because of ASD. I didn't do the hypersexualized shit where I just wanted to get popularity through getting laid. Therefore, I wasn't popular. I did hang out with the weirdos. Again, aesthetics weren't emphasized when you hang out with the weirdos. It was more how, what interesting information you had. So if you had an opinion on anything like what was going around in pop culture at the moment, anything weird that was offbeat, like anything like anime, they were interested in that. My friends went through this big Harry Potter thing. I think everyone went through the Harry Potter thing, didn't they? But it wasn't a case of, I'm going to get social acceptance by looking a particular way, and that way I will... Why would you pull out, you fucking idiot? what is that, Essendon? Yeah, Essendon number plates, yeah. Go back to your state, dickhead. Sorry, I'm dealing with morons. But, AFL morons, there we go. But it wasn't a case of, you had to look a particular way. If you looked a particular way, they could lure boys in, and therefore you gain your popularity through spreading your legs and associating with the popular kids. It was a case of you can gain acceptance through sharing information, working together, all the things that make collaborative learning and working together in a team useful. This is how you make real friends that stick. Not friends that will use you for your snatch and fuck off when they get bored. Not that shallow friendship shit. Which is why I've still got friends from year 2. Just because, it was worth investing in. And I still keep these people around because they're my friends. And we might not have a lot in common these days, but they're good people and I like hanging around them. It's nice to have that difference of opinions and different interests and things like that. So if I wanted to talk about anything like forensic stuff or anything, like Netflix series or anything like that, or look for alternative information about things to look into, I can go to one of my friends because they've got a background in it or they've got some understanding in it. It's not a case of I'm only going to someone to get laid and then leave, which is a very shallow existence, I find. But most relationships that are founded on the aesthetics of people generally are shallow. I also find they're very egocentric. And it becomes a pissing contest. It's like girls get together, or boys get together, to be honest. And it's a pissing contest to see who's the prettier one. I'm sitting there going, well, first of all, looks fade. It counts for shit in the end, and you're still soulless. So what the fuck is this for? So there's no purpose. There's no purpose to this competition. It goes nowhere. That's what's frustrating. It's like I want to make female friends, but I find as soon as I make or try to make, it becomes a pissing contest. It's like I'm perceived to be a threat. Although I did have female friends in my weird group, I just didn't have female friends in my last social group because it was one of those popular girl problem things. Apparently there's established pecking order, whereas if you hang out with just weird people, there's no pecking order. No one cares. Everybody's weird in their own unique way. If you go into one of these, residual popularity groups that are still stuck in high school, no sense of maturity or anything at all, there seems to be a pecking order. I'm like, dude, I didn't have this shit in high school. You guys are still living at an age that just doesn't mean anything. So, I don't give a fuck if you perceived yourself to be prettier than me or uglier than me, and so you're acting on your insecurities. It's like, I don't care. I know what I look like naked. You don't matter. I don't really matter, particularly aesthetically, because whoever is going to love you is going to love you for what you are, what you look like, and it won't fucking matter. Besides the fact that I'm also demisexual, so like whoever I'm with I find the most intensely attractive. That's just me. There are others who think this way as well. And it's at the core of being monogamous as well. I'm not checking out other people while I'm with my person. That is my person, I have my person, I'm happy. Well, unless they're being a complete asshole, but we've all been there. But I'm still not checking out other people. That's the thing. It's like I'm loyal, but the problem is I put them on a pedestal and I can stick with these assholes even when they treat me like shit, unless I actually stand up for myself. If you listen to any of the other podcasts, I come across as a real asshole. How dare I stick up for myself? But no, I just... And there's a lot of things that go along with aesthetics. I think people put too much stock in being considered pretty. It's like you've got the top 100 sexiest men alive or whatever it is. But if you look at the things they're doing behind the scenes in their personal lives, it's like everything they are is just a prefabricated stunt for celebrity status and wealth. It's like, this is not actually them. This is the mask they're wearing to work. We all wear a uniform for work. We are not our uniform. It's like behind that uniform, or underneath those clothes, is a real person who has issues and problems and solutions and a mind and a soul and a heart, and we're working through a load of shit as a human being, have a human experience on this fucking planet with our own unique sense of reality and our own story. So when you generalize like that, you say, like if you look at me, you go, oh, teacher. I can tell because of the outfit, or I can tell from the way she's acting. It's like, that's uniform. That's only part of me. That's not all of me. If my kids listen to this podcast or any of the other ones I've done, they're probably going to get a fucking shock because of the weird shit that's happened and that I talk about and the way I dress myself. Like, I swear fluently as well on my podcast. I don't do it around the kids. I don't even like the word shut up around my kids. It's like, because it's too aggressive. I'm going, we're not doing that today. It's not inclusive. It's not a holistic approach to making friends and community. So we're just not going to use that phrase. So when they do it just because it's off the cuff and they do it at home, I jump on them. I'm going, no, we're not doing that. Which is a bit anal. Because if you think about it, it's a pretty benign statement. It's like, shut up, and we all say it. The fact that I swear like a sailor is going to be a shock if they ever find out. But it's the uniform that we put forward to get the job done. It's not all of us. When people put together that aesthetic, it's part of you, it's not all of you. You could be the most beautiful girl in the world and still be a piece of shit. You can be the most top 100 hot guy on the celebrity whatever list, Brad Pitt. He could still be a piece of shit. He's just got really good PR. You're not seeing it. You're not seeing the whole picture by looking at the outside of the book by its cover. And it lends itself to all kinds of insecurities as well. People get so hooked up on what they look like. Or, my kids, I'm worried about my kids because they'll have like a birthmark, which will eventually fade. Like, I've got a load of kids with strawberry marks, which are about the size of your thumbprint, and it's like on their forehead or on their side of their face or something like that. And you can get it burnt off if you feel like it, if it becomes a problem. But they're worried that they're not going to fit in and their self-esteem's being affected because they've got this mark on them. And it's like, who gives a fuck? I hear, like, in terms of ether-wise, if you've got an unusual birthmark, that's how you died in your last life. That's pretty cool, I thought. So if you've got like this massive, like I've got a birthmark on the back of my neck, right at my foramen magnum, the hole where my spine goes through to my skull. It's just a red mark. It's a line or something like that. I haven't seen it myself, but I've been told I've got it. But if, you think about it, maybe that's where I got shot or something. I died in a past life because I got shot through the back of the skull. That would be pretty cool. Horrible, but pretty cool story, right? And maybe, I don't know, maybe the kids have got red marks on the side of their face because they're shot through the side of it. I don't know. It's pretty cool though, right? It's a cool story. You didn't just die in old age. It's like something happened and it was awesome. So you try to pump them up like that, and you try to emphasize, it's like, this is cool, this is all right, you've got this mark, but no one else has this mark, and it makes you awesome because I don't want to say special because I don't want to overfeed their ego, but at the same time it's different, and different is okay. So we're constantly sort of trying to get them up to a level where it's like, don't be afraid of what you've got going on with aesthetics and stuff like that, because what you are is unique and it's okay. I don't think I've really had any problems with kids bullying. I don't know if that's an American thing, to be honest, where kids will take a physical fault and make it something horrendous. I'm lucky in that a lot of the schools, even when it's rougher schools, a lot of the schools don't really have that, where they'll be like completely ragging on someone. Because if you're coming from a rough school, the kids are generally more inclusive because they're banding together against the adults, or because, they've gone through some shit and they're just trying to hang on. So there's not really that divisive attitude. Whereas if you come from the softer schools, so the better off schools, the kids are sticking together because they're just, isn't this lovely and innocent and fun? I haven't had the quintessential American bully picking on a kid and sticking them in a trash can because they're chubby or something. I haven't had that as yet, which is good, I think, because it would be horrible. But it's that emphasis in the media where you have to look a particular way, and it affects people's self-esteem, of course, because I live like wherever I've never seen an absolutely perfect, beautiful person. I've always seen like just naturally occurring people where they're pretty, but there's always something off. And you go, oh, okay, but that makes you interesting. I don't want to see the boring, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to become boring. If we all get the plastic surgery and the Botox and everything, we all look a particular way, it's just going to get boring. No one's interesting. Everybody looks the same. Can you imagine an entire population of Kardashians? It's the differences that make us valuable. In high school, we were always looking for the oddity, because it's the odd one that's interesting. It's like you're swamped by a shitload of people that act and look the same. It's going to get boring. So when someone turns up with, say, an English accent or something like that, we went, oh, different friend. It's like, that is the thing, we sort of clung to this person because, you know, we've seen the rest, now we want something interesting. And it's the same with aesthetics. Find something interesting. If you've got like a birthmark on your face, that's pretty cool, man. If you've got, I love seeing those alopecia people where they've got like the mottled melanin. And it's so interesting to watch the patterns, like see what the patterns have developed as. When they take all their makeup off, because a lot of them wear makeup because they want to fit in, but I'm sitting there going, I want to see what your skin tone is like. This is interesting to me. I love that you're different. I don't want to see the same all the time. This is boring. People are boring when they're all trying to look the same. I mean, what is this? This isn't some kind of collectivized culture. I want you to look different. I come from a westernized individualist culture where, you know, you're trying to be different. You want to look different. We celebrate our differences because we own them, hopefully, right? Not if you're following mass media and TikToks where everybody has to look the same. But, you know, it's okay to be different, as opposed to, you know, collectivist cultures where we all look the same, we all eat the same, we act the same, and anyone else who rises above that is like, fuck that, and we shoot them. Or we harvest their organs. Looking at you, China. But no, you want people to be able to accept that they're different. That's fine if as long as it's not harming anyone. I think people are putting too much importance on aesthetics, to be honest. It's come to the point where everybody's sort of like egocentric about it. Narcissism. There's a lot of narcissism being recognized these days because people are just so up their own arse about how they look, or, you know, their own self-importance. And it doesn't get you anywhere anyway, because people don't want to hang around people. And having these fucking competitions where you can't even sit down to a pint or something like that with your mates because it now becomes a pissing contest because someone's wearing a prettier dress than me. Oh God. Someone's prettier than me. It's like, bitch, you ain't seen me without the makeup yet. Harden up. It's like, I've seen me naked. I don't give a fuck. But it's shallowness. It's like people base their entire existence on the shallowness of aesthetics. It's dumb. Goes nowhere. Give it a couple of years, you fuckers are going to be morbidly obese anyway. What does it matter? Particularly given the habits that you're doing. It's, you know, it's I'm not pointing any particular people out, but you know, and when your looks go, and they will go, because nobody stays the same, and things change, and you deal with the punches, and you look after yourself as best you can. When your looks go, if you've invested only in your looks and not developed any kind of personality or anything, you know, any kindness or warmth, like real warmth, not just the fake shit you put on just to, you know, appease people and get into their good books, real warmth, you're going to find that you have a very hollow existence and nobody's going to stick around because you got nothing to offer. Personality will always be better than aesthetics. Always, because it's got longevity. Oh my God, is that a skullet? Sorry, I'm very judgmental. It's like, get away from me. No. You can't lecture us on aesthetics and then be a hypocrite. Yes, I can. I grew up in an area where there are particular indicators of safety, and a skullet shows me that it is not going to be a good day. It's like I've seen where this goes. Yeah. Anyway, but that's more like me having to deal with horrible experiences and there being flags that appear and you go, oh, actually you can generalize that shit. Actually, I might move my car because I don't trust that person. Sorry, I've just got someone with a Land Cruiser and I'm like, you know what? I know how you guys swing your doors. I'm not doing this. I don't trust it. I'll move it up the street. But you know, it's we deal with all kinds of things in a day. Feeling insecure because of aesthetics is not one of the things you should have to deal with. When you get down to it, it's the functionality of the situation. You need to be capable to do things as an adult. The vanity that comes with, you know, hitting puberty and, oh, I've got boobs now, oh, I've got, you know, skin or whatever, I don't know, short skirts and dumb bitches. I just, that fades with time because we do all grow up, we all become somewhat jaded. And the shit that matters and that stays is nothing to do with your aesthetics in the real world. You might have been popular in high school because you were pretty or attractive or handsome or whatever. Get out to the real world. These might work against you, to be honest, because people will think you're dumb because you're pretty, or you know, you're a hoe bag because you're handsome. You know, they work against you, to be honest. People are, you know, they talk about pretty privilege, but people are more inclined to be exploited when they're attractive because, you know, the hypersexualized culture where, you know, if it's hot, we can use it and then we can leave. So you're leaving yourself at a liability by encouraging people to only value through your aesthetics. Even I've got hang-ups, you know, dude. My stretch marks, I started growing at like fucking 12. I got big stretch marks, and they look like gouge marks, to be honest, on my hips. Does it stop me running around the house naked? No, because I don't care. I've got spider veins and varicose veins I've inherited from my mum's DNA, because she's got worse ones than me, and I'm sitting there going, well, that's on their way, okay. Weird rashes and stuff. It's like, you're human, man. You've got a biological vessel. You need to embrace what it is. Appreciate that it still works. You know, don't get hung up on someone else's idea of what you're supposed to look like or how you're supposed to behave and things like that. It's you know, and authentically, you need to be following your own rules anyway when it comes to aesthetics. It's like when people dye their hair, are you dyeing it for someone else? Are you dyeing it for you? I'm dyeing it for me at the moment because I know the alternative is messy and I don't like the mess. But I am 40 and I started going white, to be honest, at 30. So that's 8 years of just trying to deal with shit like that. It's not an age thing. I don't want people to think I'm prettier. I just don't like the in-betweenness. I know that when I get it all white, I'm going to just take everything out because I like it. I like white hair. But, you know, it's just, you're more than the, you know, the facade, the visual that people try to promote. I want you to have a soul rather than a pretty face, you know? It's like I value more the solidness of humanity rather than the fake persona that can be Botoxed and cut and snipped into position. I'm going to have to leave it there because I'm sitting at work. I'm heavily flued up. I'm hoping you guys just didn't hear me, you know, snort and coughing all the way through. I'm going to try and do another podcast on the way back, but hopefully I will feel a bit better. And I'll chat to you on the way back.